now call on the representative of United Nations Watch.
Gracias.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. My name is Ofelia Acevedo, a member of the Christian movement Liberación, wife of its national coordinator Oswaldo Paya, opposition leader and recipient of the Sakharov European Parliament Prize. Peaceful. There was he promoted the Varela project, a referendum with the support of 20,000 citizens, which defied the... Madam, I have to interrupt you on a point of order. Cuba, please go ahead. Mr. Vice President, my delegation to raise a point of order at this time to make it clear that the general debate on item 4 is to tackle only situations which require urgent attention by the Council and not to come and spread lies and using an NGO without any credibility whatsoever to come here to this Council and speak about a very specific situation in Cuba, which in addition has no solid grounding or argument from a legal point of view to refer to in this particular case, this specific concrete situation in Cuba. I'd like to ask you, if the NGO maintains this attitude, I'd like to ask you to withdraw the right to speak to that NGO. Thank you.
Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much. I take note of your comment, and I would ask UN Watch to continue whilst we have another point of order. United States on another point of order. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Just to make the point that we strongly believe that accredited NGOs must be allowed to speak at the Council, that we may sometimes disagree with the content of what they're saying, but it's essential to this body that their voices be heard, and we think that what the organization was saying fits squarely within the context of item 4. So we urge that you allow this NGO to continue to speak. Thanks.
Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much. I take note of your comment, and I would ask the representative of UN Watch to continue her statement while taking into account the comments made during the points of order we heard. Apologies. Yet another point of order, this time from China. Please go ahead.
Thank you, my Vice President. The Chinese delegation supports the motion put forward by Cuba just now. Thank you.
Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much. I've taken that down. I'd like to ask UN Watch to continue while taking into account the statements made in the points of order. Please go ahead. The government has refused to carry out a plebiscite and, in fact, jailed most of the leaders. Cuban citizens, who are also human beings, have the right to participate in the political life of our nation, and the Cuban government is violating its own constitution to maintain the people oppressed. I'd like to ask this House to urge the Cuban government to respect its own constitution and Universal Declaration of Human Rights and respond to the appeal for a plebiscite by Cuban citizens. We know that automobiles from the state security in Cuba were following my husband and in fact rammed the car in which he was traveling in on the day he died. Important press media and the world leaders have required an independent investigation. The Special Rapporteur on Extrajudicial Crimes of the United Nations has a formal request for an investigation in this case where my husband was killed, and a young person called Harold Cepero. My family received death threats. My children have suffered the persecution of the state security of the government of Cuba. Violence against members of the opposition is growing in the country. 3 months ago, Yolando Levy of the MCL was attacked with a machete in the street, and he may, in fact, never recover the full use of his right hand. Yosvani Melchor Rodriguez has spent 3 years in jail. State security is thus punishing his mother, a member of our movement, refusing to cooperate with them. The truth is essential. How and why did my husband die? How many peaceful opponents, peaceful opposition leaders more will have to die in suspicious conditions so that the world finally decides to investigate the actions of the Cuban government against its own citizens? Why does the Cuban government not the plebiscite that thousands of Cubans are asking for? May God watch over all of you, and thank you very much.